Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mir podcast. Always excited about coming forward, you guys. Today's no different. You guys, disregard the quality of this video. It is this phone. It just does what it's going to do until I'm able to get back to the device that I normally do these podcasts and these all of my content on. But I want to speak to today. I have an exciting conversation. I just got off the phone with one of my cousins that I really enjoy speaking to, Sandy, and we were speaking to this conversation that I had already planned. I have a list of things that I write out before my week begins to establish the cadence of things that I want to speak to during the week. And on that list, I had this topic. And the topic is that no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. You know, we hear this a lot in life. Many people say, you got to do it yourself. No one's going to come and save you. And I don't know if I agree totally with that, y'all, because honestly, it depends on what you consider saving. Like, I've never been the type of woman that, or even when I was a young girl, that expected someone to come and solve all my problems for me. Like, I've never been the girl that had the luxury of waiting for someone to come and take care of it for me. I had to figure it out. I've become very accustomed with the ideology of I'll figure it out because I know I can. I know that aligned with the God within me and all of those monumental spirits that support me, I can figure out anything that I'm dealing with. The answers will show themselves to me if I ponder them long enough. And so I never really expected anyone to come and save me, but God has always sent vessels that would act as saviors, in a sense, to me, for me in my situations, whether they were people that I just stumbled upon in conversation that had a kind word to give me, whether they were someone that I was led to because I took initiative to solve my problem. And they had a nugget of information and resources in the form of relationships or information, techniques that I could use to help me overcome whatever situation I was dealing with. There has always been a vessel that God will send me to assist me in overcoming whatever obstacles I may face in life. So I can't align with the ideology that no one is coming to save you. No one's going to come and do the work for you. That's the word. But there have been many people in my life that have come and saved me from things that I was struggling with, that they knew nothing of, yet I knew. And in them just being them and doing what God has designed them to do, when they and I met, they saved me in a sense. They gave me something new, something valuable that I could use in bettering my situation. I'm going to use the Bible as a reference point. When we look at the stumbling blocks that these children have had, many of the tremendous acts of God all came from famines and droughts. Literally. It would be this famine that would allow Joseph to be put in the pit. Had there not been a famine, Joseph wouldn't have been in the pit. The pit would have been filled with water. Had there not been a famine, Joseph's season in him being proven would have been elongated. Joseph would have wrestled still while in the prison, waiting for the appropriate moment that God could pull him out and bring him in front of who God had deemed him worthy to go before and to make a name for himself. It would be the famine, the coming of the drought, the famine, that would make Joseph so beneficial to Pharaoh. And in Joseph being so beneficial to Pharaoh, it was solidified the existence of these people in Egypt. But even before it would solidify the people in Egypt, it would allow Joseph to make a great name for himself and to make himself prosperous and trustworthy to the Egyptians, so that as the famine grew, it would draw his family to Egypt. Without the famine, Jacob and his 11 sons would never have gone to Egypt and discovered Joseph. They would have never reconnected. All these things happened because of the famine. And that's my word to many of you, is that it is the famine seasons of our lives that allow us to create monumental change. The famine seasons of our lives make people. They are transitionary stages in life where out with the old and in with the new. That old way has gone. That old source that you would rely upon to sustain you is no longer there. And now you must source, you must migrate, step out of your comfort zone and begin to migrate into new directions, seeking nourishment because your old source is dried up. The famines in our lives allow us to see things from new perspectives. You see, the sources, the water sources that we relied so heavily upon in all of our paths in life, we sourced for those at one time in our lives as well. Early in our life, we did the legwork in sourcing for these water wells. And we found them. And we drank from these wells all throughout our journey. We've become so accustomed to drinking from these wells. We've become so accustomed to finding resources in a particular way whenever things get tight. We've become so accustomed to defaulting over to certain techniques and people and ways for seasons until we can get our money back up, right? Until we can get back up, and then we can leave those alone and we can go back on doing things the way we normally do them. But in the famine seasons, all of those resources dry up. You can't go to those people anymore. You can't default to those techniques. You've outgrown them, or they've moved on, or they're suffering a famine themselves. You must migrate away from all of your old ways and venture into the unknown, looking for the same type of nutrients that you need to sustain you. And this is the way of God. This is what God does in Him leading people to newness. It is the famines of life that lead you into the unknown, searching for newness. Newness to sustain you. It's a growth technique that God innately created to push us forward, regardless to if we feel like we're ready to be pushed forward or not, regardless of how long we were comfortable in that particular way of life. Many of us have built kingdoms dependent on particular sources of nutrition. Many of us have. And now the famines come and they disrupt that. The famines are not man-made, they're God-made. But we will blame one another for the famines that God created. We will blame one another for the depletion of the nutrients that we once all drank so abundantly from within the wells that are now dried up. And it's futile to blame one another. What good is it going to do? The well is dried up regardless. We can sit and weep and mourn and moan and groan and complain in front of the well all day long. But at the end of the day, you and your family will become thirsty, and you and your family must arise and embark upon the journey just like everybody else in finding new sources of nutrition. No one is coming to save you. The famines allow us to re-envision our lives. The famines are not always a mournful state. They're a state, a lot of times, if you look at them objectively and from a place of positivity, they can be seen as fresh starts. If you've been honing in on your skills or your gifts, if you have something to offer, if you're standing in the authenticity and the truth of your calling, if you've constantly been growing in life and you haven't allowed yourself to become stagnant, I don't care how young or how advanced in age you are, if you've constantly been in love with your thing and your offering, you will have some form of newness that will sustain you in the famine seasons. If you tap into the newness that you have, if you truly love whatever it is that you've become, and you're constantly evolving in the youthful aspect of loving your calling, when the famine seasons come, they do not stop you. You will be challenged by them. We all are challenged by the famine seasons. But the will, tempered by the truth, the love, will forge you forward in a new direction in an excited way. You will not give up. You will not tap out when the famine seasons come upon you. You will look at them and say, there must be another way. There must be some alternative to this. You will stand in the truth of who you are and in your alignment with God. And you will search while waiting for God to send a vessel. You will search for that thing that sustains you while waiting for God to send you a vessel. And you will be open to how the vessel shows up. Whereas in your last season, while drinking from the well that you have become so accustomed to, you may not have been as open and optimistic to the newness that you must be open and optimistic of in the famine seasons. You may not have been open to a certain new ideology because you're leaning on this old thing that has proven itself in your life and you're comfortable with it. Yet when the famines come, new vessels, new areas, newness comes with the famine because you're migrating, you're sourcing, and you are open to newness. And it is this newness that you find while you are migrating for nutrition while in your famine season that allows the movement of God to be so profound in your life. You yourself will be in awe and in excitement to see what God will do through this thing. These are the things that come from the famine. But when Joseph was in his famine season, he didn't have time to be particular about the movement of God, nor the particular arities of his movement from the pit to the prison. He had to keep going. These are the things that come upon you in your famine seasons. The famine seasons are a natural push from God, pushing you into levels of newness that you never would have opened yourself up to, you never would have expected, and you never would have brought upon your own self. You never would have seen yourself embarking upon certain journeys. It will be the push of the famine that will lead you to the peculiar places of your life. And I'm here to tell you that it is the famine seasons that bring to you the vessels of God that need to introduce themselves to you, to new heightened states of yourself or to new perspectives so that you are useful in your next seasons of life. No one is coming to save you. That was the motto. That was the opening statement of this podcast. And I beg to differ. There have been many people that have come to save me. They've saved me in ways that they would never even understand. They saved me in the most unconventional ways. They didn't save me by solving all of my problems for me. That's not what I consider saving. If you come and you solve all my problems for me, you're not saving me, you're harming me. You're making it very difficult for me to be able to stand on my own and to be a problem solver myself. But if you come upon me with information, various acts of kindness in seasons when I really needed that kindness, having that spirit of kindness acted like a battery pack being put on my back and giving me the momentum to get up and go the extra mile or 10. A kind smile, a kind word, a reminder of things about myself that I may have forgotten along the way because of the heaviness of the burden that I'm currently wrestling with. Things that don't cost anything. Those are the things that save you, friend. Those are the things that give you the motivation to get up and chip at it again just a little bit longer. It is the famine seasons, the droughts, that bring these vessels. This is my word for you today. I just wanted to come on and remind you today that the slogan, "No one is coming to save you," is not altogether true, friend. It just depends on what you consider saving. No one is going to come and do the work for you. But there have been many that have come to save me. And I'm sure that you will say, if you look at your life in the appropriate way, that there have been many that have come to save you as well. You'll love more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.